Hi there, my name's Fern and I am the Seed Bank Officer for the National Wildflower Centre. The National Wildflower Centre is now based at Eden. It's found a home here, and our mission is to create wildflower meadows across the UK and to restore the wildflower biodiversity that we have lost. Today I'd like to show you how you can do some seed harvesting at home in your own gardens. The principles that we use in the Wildflower Centre can be applied to all seed, and the techniques that I'm going to show you will mean that the seed that you collect will be as viable as possible. And once you've collected it, you can use it in your gardens next year, or perhaps you can swap it with your friends or at organised seed swaps across the UK. In autumn and the winter, it's best to harvest the seed once the sun has come up and allowed the plants to dry out a little bit more, because there can be a lot of dew on the plants early in the morning. And when you take your seed, it's important first, before you start harvesting, to check that there is actually seed inside the seed head. So what I would do is break the seed head open and check that you can see some seeds in there. If their seeds are big enough, you might like to do a cut test, and that's when you cut a few of the seeds open to make sure that you haven't just got the empty seed coat, there is actually a nice full seed inside there. And to tell that there's a full seed, you should see lots of white inside, and that's the starchy endosperm of the seed. That's the food for when the seed starts to grow and germinate. It's important when seed collecting that you collect your seed in paper bags, and this is to allow the seed to breathe and to avoid trapping moisture next to the seed. If you use plastic bags, your seed might get sweaty, and what we want is to get the seed as dry as possible, as fast as possible. I've also got several paper bags in my trug here, and that's because when you're collecting your seed, you don't want to mix them up. You want to make sure that all of your species stay in separate bags. Once you have mixed your seed up, it's like separating grains of salt and pepper to try and get them apart. So make sure that you've got several paper bags ready for your seed collecting. You can see that this wild carrot is ready to harvest because it's gone very dry and brown and the stems are very brittle. And when you rub it, the seed is naturally falling off, and that means it's at the natural point of dispersal. So this solidago is also ready to harvest because the seeds are naturally falling away. So we've got some nice ripe dahlia seed heads here, and you can see if you pull the seed head off and look and check inside for the seeds, because you don't want to collect seed heads that don't have any seeds inside. We've got lots of lovely seeds inside this one, and I'm just going to cut one of them in half just to make sure that the seed head is full and not empty, and if it's full then we'll see nice white endosperm inside, and yeah, we can, that's lovely and full. Now we're back in the workshop. We've just collected our seed, and what I'm going to do is lay it out to dry. We lay it out as thin as we possibly can, and the reason that we do this is to let all the moisture evaporate from the seed. And my workshop is room temperature, so it's not too cold, it's not too hot, which is very important, and it's nice and dry, so the seed can air dry. And somewhere in your house, room temperature, maybe on the dining table, would be great to do this. Just don't lay them out to dry in a greenhouse, because it will get too hot in there and kill the seed. So one of the other reasons that we lay the seed out to dry is that it allows any insects that we might have collected as well to escape. So you may want to lay the seed out for a very short time outside so the insects don't escape into your house. Here I've got some cow parsley that I collected previously and has already been dried. And what I'm going to do is just clean the seed away from the seed head. And the seed is the dark bits that you can see here. And this means that there'll be less to store effectively. Now your seed is cleaned, it's ready to be stored. And the best thing to store your seed in is some kind of paper packet. And this allows the seed to breathe and make sure that it doesn't get too sweaty. So the best thing to use for this are these little manila wage envelopes. They seal themselves, and you can write on the front in pencil. It's important to write in pencil because pen might fade. So write the name of the plant that you've collected seed from on here, and perhaps the date that you've collected it from as well. So you can make your own paper packets by taking any scrap paper you have in your house that's roughly rectangular shaped. So fold this paper in half lengthways and then fold the open edge over a couple of times so that the edge will shut. Then you need to flip this over and fold your top edge down on itself to create a triangular point. You then fold this point in onto the little flap that you've just created. Now, this can be a little bit tricky. And then now you have an open seed packet. And once you've got your seed in there, you want to do the same thing on the other end. So fold it over so you have this triangular point, and then fold that little point back on itself. And just tuck it into the little flap that you've created previously. So this is your little seed packet, and this will stay closed, and then you can write the label, write the name and the date of the seed collection on your packet there. Once you've got your seeds all packaged up and nicely labelled, you need to store them until you're ready to sow them. And the best place to store the seeds is somewhere in your house that's cool and dry. You can store seeds in a fridge, but you want to make sure that they're in something like a kilner jar. That will mean that the moisture that's in the air in the fridge won't get to the seeds. So you can put them dry in the kilner jar and put them in the fridge, or you can just store them in their paper packets in an open container that's somewhere cool and dry in your house. Don't put them in an airing cupboard, and don't leave them in your greenhouse because that will be too warm and will reduce the viability of your seed. So I'm just going to write a label for this cow parsley. So I'm writing the name on my packet, and I'm also going to write the date that it was collected. So that's so I know when I find the packet how old the seed is. So then I'm just going to put my seed into the packet. I'm not going to put all of this in here because I might make a few packets and spread it around to my friends. And then I'll seal the packet up, pop it into my kilner jar, and then shut it, and this can go in the fridge. So I've given you all the tools to be able to collect and package and look after your own seed, and the kind of things that you might find around in your garden at this time of year. A lot of dahlias are setting seed. You might find wild carrot, fennel, and things like rudbeckia. So a lot of things that have been flowering in the summer will still have seed on them now, and as long as you collect them when they're nice and dry, you can use that. But just remember, it's important to only collect seed from your own garden or somewhere that you have permission from the landowner. If you'd like to get more involved in growing seed for collection and preserving, you might like to have a look at Garden Organic's Heritage Seed Library, where you can become a guardian for a particular heritage variety of vegetable seed. So thank you very much for watching, and good luck with your own seed collecting.